Now, for Global Business Updates, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Why are you clapping?
Welcome back,
Good morning.
Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Wati. Good morning,
Clapping
Rufai.
for you now.
Why are you clapping? Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
That's appropriate, right?
Eh?
What language do they speak in?
They speak German.
It's German, French, so
French. I
many
know
different, so many
Some parts
different
Italian.
languages. Yes.
Bienvenue, have you?
But in Davos itself, what language?
I'm clapping for you.
It's a
I
mix.
miss
It's a
Oh,
mix.
it's
It's still a mix. Very, very
Excellent.
diversified there.
Welcome
Thank you.
back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm eating your
Miss you
chocolate
too,
this
Rufai.
morning.
Let's get into it.
Go
We're
ahead.
talking about mostly oil and gas today. You guys already touched on, with Adefemi, the U.S. threat on Iran and Trump's post. So I guess no need to display that. But Brent crude, look at that, floating with $70 a barrel. West Texas, 64.39. I mean, look, it's a lot of things that are getting into. This is Trump's post. I mean, you've already talked about it, saying that there's a big naval vessel heading over to Iran. But also in the U.S., you know, there's been a big winter storm that's been impacting a number of households. So there's been a higher demand for energy in the United States. The crude inventories, U.S. crude inventories actually dropped, I think, by about 2.2 million barrels. So thought we had that. But either way, inventories, there we go. So 423 million barrels, dropping by 2.3 million. The forecast was 1.4. For our viewers, this is just the amount of crude stockpiles that the U.S. has. So when you have a bigger drawdown than expected, that usually means higher demand. Again, lots of power outages. It's very, very cold across the U.S. So that's also pushing crude prices up. We get to Venezuela, and it looks like the U.S., of course, is pushing reforms, oil and gas reforms. We understand that there's some reform working its way through Venezuela's National Assembly in order to reduce the amount of state control on Venezuela's oil and gas assets. So they want to try and get more private sector players to come into, particularly the upstream sector. Of course, Chevron is there. And they also, I think royalties are capped at 30%, but now what they want to do is to apply royalties on a project-by-project basis. So Venezuela is trying to reform it. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State for the United States, testified in Congress yesterday. 2-hour talk, but we just want to have a quick excerpt from what they plan to do with Venezuela's sanctioned oil. What he essentially says, you hear him now, is saying that the U.S., on that sanctioned oil, Venezuela is going to provide a budget to the U.S. and say, this is what we plan to spend to pay for civil servants, payroll, police. The United States will approve it and allow for the oil to be sold from Venezuela at the actual market rates, not those discounts that were being sold to Russia and China. So here is Marco Rubio.
And one of the tools that's available to us is the fact that we have sanctions on oil. There is oil that is sanctioned that cannot move from Venezuela because of our quarantine. And so what we did is we entered into an arrangement with them. And the arrangement is this. On the oil that is sanctioned in quarantine, we will allow you to move it to market. We will allow you to move it to market at market prices, not at the discount China was getting. In return, the funds from that will be deposited into an account that we will have oversight over. And you will spend that money for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. Why was that important? Venezuela was running out of storage capacity. Okay? They were producing oil, they were drilling oil, they had nowhere to put it. They had nowhere to move it, and they were facing a fiscal crunch. They needed money in the immediacy to fund the police officer, the sanitation workers, the daily operations of government. And so we've been able to create a short-term mechanism. This is not going to be the permanent mechanism, but this is a short-term mechanism in which the needs of the Venezuelan people can be met through a process that we've created where they will submit every month a budget of this is what we need funded. We will provide for them at the front end what that money cannot be used for. And they've been very cooperative in this regard.
All right, so that's on the Venezuela side. We move on from there to the U.S. dollar. Major weakness, and this actually helps a lot of emerging markets, your Nigerias, Ghanas, Zambias, and everybody else, because the dollar has been falling. On Tuesday, I think while he was in Idaho, or was it Ohio or somewhere, President Trump said, it's fine that the U.S. dollar is weak. So we saw the biggest one-day drop in the dollar since Liberation Day in April. That was on Tuesday. And Wednesday, Bessent comes out and said, no. We actually want to support a stronger dollar. But again, Trump has wanted a weaker dollar because it helps U.S. exports, but it's a double-edged sword because imports now become more expensive. This analyst was responding to that, saying that Bessent is employing a bit of a strategic ambiguity with his dollar comments. A full-fledged weak dollar policy, as espoused by Trump, initially could take a life of its own and get out of control. But he says he was looking to temper that, but by and large, they want a weaker US dollar. Again, it's a double-edged sword because you're going to, disincentivize investors if their returns on their dollar assets and dollar investments are yielding lower returns. Gold, I mean, this is just incredible stuff. Last time we spoke, wasn't it 4,500? It's now crossed 5,005. Look at silver, $119 an ounce. Copper also rising as well. Again, it's everything that we're seeing with respect to the geopolitical concerns. Dollar weakness. By the way, a weaker dollar boosts commodities because these are priced in dollars. So the weaker the dollar gets, essentially investors are incentivized to buy more of these, and the dollar keeps continuing to lose its safe haven assets. So this has essentially become cheaper in dollar terms. That has helped Ghana, of course. Ghana just continues to ride the wave. We're going to get a lot of central bank decisions. I think South Africa is up next. Nigeria is coming up. Mozambique, I think, cut as well. So Ghana cut their benchmark rate by another 250 basis points from 18 to 15.5%. It's a 4-year low. Much of this has been because of the deceleration in inflation. And it's been, I mean, look at this. This is December of 2025. Basically, we just moved the decimal point over. 5.4% headline CPI. It was 54.1 in December of 2022. So in a 36-month period, you've just seen a massive deceleration in inflation. And again, this gold, as gold continues to rise, it helps Ghana's foreign reserves. It helps the cedi. Mahama he's just riding a wave right now. We round up with Nigeria. All share index did fall yesterday by 33 basis points, 165, 164. We saw some weakness in MTN, First Holdco, Fidelity, but the market is still up 6.14. I didn't get to tech. Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta released earnings yesterday. There was a bit of a divergence in how the stock prices reacted. Apple is releasing their earnings later today. We're going to be getting into that to see how well, because the iPhone 17, the sales have been pretty brisk this last quarter. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Who used to call China currency manipulator number
It was
one?
Donald Trump, Rufai.
Okay, well, Rotus, thank you. We seem to have run out of time. Although you didn't talk about the U.S. Federal
They held rates,
report,
yes.
and all that talk about independence of the central bank of the United States. But thank you all the same.